welcome back to Habitual. Today we have a restorative yoga flow. I know my body needs it after all of the movement this week. So go ahead and roll out your mat in a comfortable place, wherever that is, whatever that looks like. If you would like, you can grab some pillows from inside your home to use throughout practice. If you have actual yoga bolsters, that works as well, but we're using pillows today just to show how easy it is to have a super beneficial restorative practice at home with no extra equipment required. So go ahead and grab your mat and meet me on your sit bones. You can kind of pull your flesh up from your booty so that your sit bones can make nice contact with the mat. Bring one ankle in front of the other, or find another crisscross position that feels most comfortable to you. And then start to roll your shoulders up towards your ears, shrugging them up high. Inhale here, and exhale, release your shoulders down your back. Open mouth, sigh it out. Inhale, shrug forwards and up towards your ears. And exhale, roll them down your back. Switching directions, bring your shoulder blades back together and then shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. And exhale, let them roll forward and come back down. One more time backwards, bring your shoulder blades back together, up towards your ears, and then forwards. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. And on your exhale, just drop your shoulders. Inhale. And 2 more here. Releasing anything that's not serving you this morning, this evening, whenever you are practicing. Inhale, shrug it up, and release. Coming into a moment of stillness, sitting here on our mats. Patanjali has a quote that says, yoga brings us into the present, the only moment where life exists. The invitation is that you invite that in to be your mantra for the practice, to come into a deep sense of presence in this moment, feeling what's happening within your body, what's happening around your body, how the air feels as it kisses your body, how your breath feels as the air enters your lungs and fills you up, and how it feels to release it back to the world around you with your exhales. On your next inhale, you can begin to flutter your eyes open or keep them closed, completely up to you, and release your right hand, sweeping it up overhead. Left forearm comes down to the mat. Inhale here, and exhale, come back up to a seated posture. Inhale, left arm up, reaches over. And exhale, come back to a seated posture. Inhale. And exhale. Switching sides. Inhale. And exhale. Come back into a seated posture. Sweep your hands around to the front of your mat and begin to walk your hands out in front of you. Here is an option to use a bolster or a pillow. If you'd like to grab one, you can set it just in front of your ankles and walk your body up over this bolster or pillow. Or if your hips are feeling nice and open today, just walk your hands out on the mat. Taking 5 breaths here. With each inhale, stretching out forwards a little bit more. And exhale, melting your chest down towards the mat. Being mindful of where your sit bones are during practice. Noticing that they are still pulling down towards the mat, making contact here. If they're rolling up, feel free to go ahead and grab another bolster so that your sit bones can continue to make contact with the mat as you bow into this posture. On your next inhale, walk your hands up towards your body. You can set your pillow out to the side for just a moment. Take your hands up overhead, stretching up nice and tall, and exhale, hands come back behind you. Right hand grabbing onto left elbow, left hand grabbing onto right elbow, and just bow forwards here, getting a shoulder opener. Bringing your forehead to the mat. Again, if that's not available to you, feel free to keep the bolster out in front of you with your forehead on the bolster. Here for 2 more breaths. And sit back up. Hands release and sweep up overhead. And exhale, hands come down behind you. This time, bringing your left hand to your right elbow, right hand to left elbow, just so that the opposite hand is touching your back more prominently. Inhale here, bring your shoulder blades together, and exhale, forward fold over your bolster or to the mat. Inhale, lift up. Hands sweep up overhead. Take your gaze up with them. Hands come together in prayer. Bringing your hands down over third eye center. Down into heart center. And then down by your side. Moving on to our backs. Ooh, got a little bit of an eye itch. You can extend your feet out in front of you. Bring that pillow or bolster back behind you. Just setting it right at the base of your spine. And then take your hands out in front. Slowly start to curl back, coming over that bolster. In this posture, we're getting a front of body stretch, getting a stretch in our underarm area. Here for 2 more breaths. And then bring one hand down to your belly and one hand to your heart. Left hand typically comes to your heart, right hand on your belly. And step your feet in, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet are touching out in front of you, creating almost a little diamond shape with your hip, knees, and feet. Breathing here, feeling your quads melt open towards the mat as your hip flexors soften. Open mouth, sigh it out. Releasing with your exhales. One more breath. Inhale, bring your knees together, plant your feet. Hands come up over your shoulders and slowly start to curl up, coming into a seated posture on your mat. Bring your bolster out from behind you. We won't need that for just a little while. You can swing your feet around, coming into all fours on your mat. Hands are under your shoulders. Knees are under your hips. Inhale, open up into cow, shoulder blades together, pelvis tilted forward, throat space open towards the front of the room. And exhale through your nose, cow, cat. Exhale through your nose, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Holding here in your cow for 3 breaths. If it feels nice, maybe invite in some intuitive movement in this cow, swaying your hips side to side, finding a little tuck in your pelvis on one side, and then tilt it forward, switch to the other side, and tuck your pelvis under. Just finding some unique movement here, waking your spine up. A fluid spine is signs of a young and healthy body. So as mobile as our spines are is how old we are, is what I'm hearing. On your exhale, tuck your chin in, tuck your pelvis under, and hold here for 3 breaths. Again, finding some intuitive movement. Maybe you shift forwards and backwards here, or side to side. If you don't know where to go, that's okay. There's no right or wrong place to go. Just close your eyes and feel your body. If you have an urge to move in a specific way, do it. See how it feels. You might surprise yourself with your intuition knowing exactly what you need and exactly the moment you need it. Yoga is such a great place to start this practice of listening to our intuition and things that seem like they're not that important or they're small or the details don't matter. When you start to move and you find those little places where your body needed that movement, you notice how much details really do matter and how much you know how to guide yourself to the place that you want to go, the place that you need to go most. On your next inhale, lift up into all fours, belly button in towards your spine. Step back into a high plank. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, downward facing dog. Holding in this downward facing dog, belly button in towards your spine. We'll start here. As you keep your belly button in towards your spine, internally rotate your arms so that your elbow creases are facing towards the front of the room. And then pressing through your heels, inhale, and exhale, release. Inhale onto your tippy toes and walk to the top of the mat, meeting me in a bent knee forward fold. In this forward fold, we don't want the biggest stretch we can have in our hamstrings unless you are feeling super open already this morning or already today. Inhale, sweep your hands up overhead, tall Tadasana, and exhale, hands come down by your side. Inhale, sweep your hands up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step your right foot back, left foot forward, left hand up to the ceiling, right hand down. Simple twist. And exhale, left hand comes towards the back of the room, pulling backwards, inviting in energy. Inhale, left hand up overhead. Framing your left foot, drop your right knee down to the mat and walk your hands back, coming into a seated half splits. Here, if you'd like, you can keep your hands on the mat or airplane your hands back behind you. Getting a nice opening in that hamstring on your left side. Inhale, walk forward, coming into Anjayasana. Untuck your right toes. Lift your hands up overhead. Gaze comes up towards the ceiling. Squaring your hips off towards the front of your mat. Shoulder blades down your back, keeping your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale and exhale. Breath in through your nose and out through your nose. One more breath here. And exhale, plant your hands down on the mat. Tuck your right toes under. Lift your right knee up off of the mat. Slide your left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale onto your tippy toes. Roll forward, high plank. 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees wide, toes together. Child's pose. Planting your forehead down on the mat. Find your child's pose. Inhale, shift forward, coming onto your hands and knees once more. Tuck your toes under, send your hips backwards, downward facing dog. Inhale onto your tippy toes, walk to the top of your mat, coming into a halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold, maybe straightening your legs just a little bit more here than last time. Then into your knees, sweep your hands up overhead, tall Tadasana, and hands come down by your side. Inhale, sweep your hands up overhead. And exhale, hands come out in front of you, lifting your left leg up, holding in modified big toe hold. Leave your right hand at the front of your left knee and release your left hand, taking it behind you, letting your gaze follow your left hand. Holding here for 3 breaths. It's okay to be wobbly, to find the level of twist that feels right for you here. And if you would like, you're welcome to grab onto your big toe instead of your knee and find full extension here. Find whatever feels right for your practice this morning. And exhale, bring your left hand back around, bend your knee in, holding in that modified big toe hold. And exhale, plant your left foot down, forward fold over both feet. Step your left foot back, right foot forward, holding here. Exhale, drop your left knee down to the mat. Inhale, Anjayasana. And exhale, shift backwards, coming into that seated half splits. Hands up over the mat in airplane arms or hands down by your side. Inhale here and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale, walking your hands forward. Plant your hands, tuck your left toes, leave your left hand on the mat, right hand comes up overhead, finding a twist. And exhale, right hand comes back behind you, gaze goes with your right hand. Inhale, sweep your right hand back up to the front of the mat, walk your hands through center, coming into a Prasarita forward fold. Wide-legged forward fold, your toes are slightly inwards, pressing into the outer edges of your feet. Feeling that calf stretch on the outer part of your calf. Hamstring stretch. Releasing your low back. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk your hands around to the front side of the mat. Hands frame your right foot and step your right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale here onto your tippy toes and exhale, heels down towards the mat. Inhale onto your tippy toes and exhale, heels come down towards the mat. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Maybe find ankle circles here in 3-legged dog. Left heel is still drawing down towards the mat. Exhale, knee to chest. Bring your knee to your right wrist and your ankle to your left wrist and slide back, coming into pigeon pose. Here in our pigeon pose, there are a couple of options for your bolster. If you find that your hip is up off of the mat quite a bit, you can take a pillow or a bolster, just slide that underneath so that your hip can rest fully on the bolster. If your hip comes down towards the mat, you can bring the bolster out in front of you just to walk your hands out, bringing the floor closer to you so that it's less of an intense stretch in that right glute. If you're feeling pretty open today, maybe you just walk your hands out long on the mat and plant your forehead on the mat. Take your pick here. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Something to remember in our restorative practice is that just because you can take a posture doesn't always mean that it is the posture that is best for your body. So maybe if you can walk your hands all the way out and come flat on the mat like a pancake, maybe that feels good for you this morning. Or maybe you'd like to back it up a little bit and experience this posture in a different way by sliding the bolster underneath you. Sometimes not going as far as deep as we can into something allows for more room for play, more room for our body to expand, to learn about itself, to feel differently about itself or that posture. On your next inhale, walk your hands under your shoulders. Remove that bolster if it's under your hips. Tuck your left toes under. Press up into 3-legged dog. Right leg is up in the air, and exhale, right foot comes down to meet the left in downward facing dog. Inhale onto your tippy toes, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, active child's pose. 3-legged dog, right leg lifts, and exhale, knee to chest. Plant your right foot between your hands and walk into your prasarita forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, walk around into prasarita or into low lunge on the left side. Plant your hands, step your left foot up for 3-legged dog. Exhale, cheetah, knee to nose. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, cheetah, knee to nose, and drop your left knee to your right wrist, or left wrist, right wrist meets your left ankle, sliding back into pigeon. You can bring your bolster or your pillow under your hip from the back side if you would like to let your hip rest on this bolster. Take your bolster out in front of you just to bring the ground closer to you, or walk your hands out on the mat, bringing your chest down to the floor beneath you. Take whatever feels best for your body here. Maybe play around with it, try 1 or 2 variations. We'll be here for the next 5 breaths. Let this pose feel so yummy for your left glute. On your next inhale, press your hands into the mat. Remove that bolster from your hip or out in front of you. Tuck your right toes under and send your left leg back, coming into three-legged dog. Exhale, left leg comes down to meet your right for downward facing dog. Inhale onto your tippy toes. Walk to the top of your mat, meeting in a halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your hands up overhead. This time lifting your right leg up. Hands come around to the front of your right leg. Breathe here. Shoulder blades come back behind you. Find a place of stillness. And exhale, release your right hand back behind you, finding a twist towards the right side. It's okay to be wobbly. On your next inhale, right hand comes up and back to the front, grabbing onto your knee. Inhale here, and exhale, plant your foot. Hands sweep up overhead, and exhale, forward fold. Lift your left leg up, standing half splits on the right side. Step back into a low lunge. Walk your hands around to a prasarita. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and walk around to the left side. Hands are framing that left foot. Step up into a standing half split, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale onto your tippy toes, and exhale, hips come down to your heels, sitting back onto your bum. You can bring your feet wide. Coming into a wide-legged forward straddle. Bolster comes out in front of you. I'm going to grab two, layering it. So this bottom one is right up against my pelvis. And then this one's just a little bit further out so that it catches my forehead. You can start to walk your hands out in front of you and find your right cheek planted on the bolster. Breathing here for 3 breaths. Inhale, lift your cheek up and switch to the left side. And on your next inhale, walk your hands up, setting your bolsters back behind you or off to the side. You can swing your feet around to the front of your mat, hands sweep up overhead, and exhale, curling back onto your back. Pull your right knee in towards your chest. Give it a nice squeeze. And then release it over to the left side of your mat. Coming into a supine twist, gaze goes over to your right hand. Inhale here. And exhale. 2 more breaths. Inhale, right knee comes in towards your chest. Pull that leg in, lift your shoulders up off of the mat, hover your left leg, and switch. Pulling your left knee in towards your chest, roll your shoulders back down to the mat. Let your left leg come over to the right side of the mat. Gaze goes over to your left hand, extended out to the side. Inhale, bring your left knee in towards your chest. Curl your shoulders up off of the mat, hover your right leg, and switch and switch. Both knees come in towards your chest. And exhale, release, full body stretch. Hands come down by your side, allowing these postures to integrate into your body. And when you are ready, pull your knees in towards your chest, curl up into Vipassana. Release your shoulders to the mat and pull your hands to the outsides of your feet, coming into happy baby. Taking 3 breaths here, pulling your knees in towards your underarms, opening up your hips, Inhale and exhale. Release your hands, pull your knees in towards your chest, curl up into a ball. And when you're ready, plant your feet on the mat. Lift your right hand up overhead and roll over into fetal posture. Taking just 2 breaths here. On your next inhale, press up, coming into a seated posture. Calling back to our awareness, the quote from Patanjali, which says, yoga brings us into the present, the only moment where life exists. Thank you so much for joining us for this restorative practice here on Habitual today. If you would like to stack this practice with a workout, Pilates, HIIT, another yoga practice, or a breathwork meditation, check out the playlist on our channel. If that has been enough for you, thank you so much for joining, and we will see you back here tomorrow.